she was the first graduate of UC Davis's wine school in 1965, and her specialty was mead.
Yep, it was. And well, you kind of gave me the business about that when I first started.
She was just tickled to death to find somebody to talk to about mead.
I'll bet.
And she helped me with a lot of my tweaking of the recipe, the formula for the pure honey mead. And so, well, I guess all the awards and that over the years sort of testify that I did it. I made a complex wine-like mead.
Yeah.
And it's been 25% of our sales ever since.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So
back on...
Go ahead. Sorry, AJ.
I was going to say, a little bit more into the business side of thing. Since this is a family business, who plays what roles in making the business work?
Well, as it stands now, I am basically production. I have no idea how the business works anymore. But my oldest son, Joe, is basically the office manager, and he does all of the tax work for our online sales and out-of-state shipping and all of that. He also procures all of the supplies and ingredients and things. My middle son, Patrick, helps me in production and now is pretty much spearheading our beer and wine making supply inventory.
Okay.
My wife used to play a pretty active role in packaging and shipping, but now takes care of all the grandkids.
She's Cam Grandma.
And so
that's an important job.
Yeah, the fifth member of the fifth principal in the corporation, Adam, who is our full-time sales rep, also just took about 6 months ago. Just took formula and label approval away from me.
Oh.
The dealings with the dealings with the ATF.
I'm sure that was.
TTB.
I'm sure. Yeah, that tells you how far
Well,
back
it just gets to be too much, because the other thing that I do is all of the events. I am booked starting the first weekend in May through the first weekend in November.
Nice.
With maybe only 2 or 3 free weekends for the whole summer at either a art show, a Ren Fair, a Highland Games.
That's cool. That gets you in front of a lot of people. For those of you out there that may not have had the pleasure of meeting Ken yet, if you see him, you will never forget him. He will be wearing a kilt. He looks like a Montanan. He's got that I've been outside a lot look, and he's got a
maybe an original Montanan.
Yeah. Well, you've got that. I could totally see you in furs with bear traps hung over your or beaver traps hung over your back. No worries.
Well, and then somewhere during the whole mead adventure, I must have touched a standing stone or something like that, because I slipped back like 400 years.
Yeah, I've never seen you. I don't think I've ever seen you not.
And so it's rare. Well, I'm not in one now because, as you know, in about a half hour or so, I have an ambulance shift at the hospital.
You know,
one of my other therapies is I work as an EMT. So I'm wearing duty pants because the hospital can't wrap their brain around letting me wear a duty kilt.
I was just going to say,
that's kind of fair, really.
Yeah, if I was going to have a heart attack, I would totally love to have a kilt-wearing EMT come and go, "Ma'am, can you breathe?" And be like, "Well, I could, but not now. Oh, my God."
Nice.
He looks good in a kilt, guys. Just saying, or girls, I should say, out there. Yeah, go to hiddenlegendwinery.com.
Come on, who doesn't?
Yeah, go to hiddenlegendwinery.com.
You've got to have all the chances at resuscitation you can get.
That's right.
Absolutely.
It's very important. So.
I didn't know that Peter Pan wasn't real.
He's not?
It was a cruel joke, so I take every opportunity to dress like a pirate.
I think you should.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's dress like a pirate day every day then. Yeah, it works. I like that. Here you get free.
The other side of that whole thing is that if you look at me and your first thought is not, gee, he looks like a politician or a lawyer, then it's working.
It was working, yeah. When I first saw you, my first thought was, did I, because I helped start the Mazer Cup, and and I saw you, of course, before that when we were doing the International Mead Festival and Planet Buzz and all that other stuff. And the first time I ever saw you, I thought, is there a Ren Fair around here? Because I used to go to fairs a lot.
I don't know why everybody asks me if I play the bagpipes.
I can't imagine.
Goes with the kilt.
Yeah. He shows up in the full regalia, and he's in it all weekend long at the Mazer Cup, no matter how cold it is. It's
Well, if I can't get GM to give me approval to use Chateau Chevette for my winery when I get it started, it'll be me in armor.
There you go. I like
that. There you
go.
Well, that's the thing. I understand it sells. I understand from the boys that it looks like it sells a fair amount of mead.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it? Man in a kilt? Hello.
That's why they parade me around all these things all summer.
It works, yeah. It really does. I mean, come on.
It's all your legs, you know it.
The kilt is so popular that is re-entered like regular, quote-unquote, normal day-to-day clothing. I mean, there are entire kilt lines now that weren't there 20 years ago. So something's happening.
I totally want a Utila kilt.
Oh, yeah.
There are dozens of kilt makers now. The odd thing is that you just don't see that many of them in public.
No.
I would totally wear a Utila kilt because honestly, it's got more pockets and it's more useful than women's pants.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Well, and the guys that don't wear a Utila kilt, and sorry guys, you can all yell at me later, but the guys that are afraid to wear a Utila kilt just aren't sure enough in their manhood to do it. You got to be really confident to pull that off, It's the whole what if they're looking up my skirt fear, I think, or something.
Then they deserve what they see.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. So, Ken, I know you got to get here in a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and, get you through a couple more things that are, like, actually maybe a little mead-related. This has been way too much fun. We'll have you back some point when we can do it when you don't have a shift that night and talk more later.
I was wondering when you were going to get around to mead.
Yeah, well, if you'd stop wearing that kilt and distracting me. It's fun. You've got.
This is radio, remember?
This is radio, yeah. I know it. Yeah. Well, okay. Sorry, but in my mind's eye, you're wearing a kilt because you always are. So, what's on? If you can tell us, I know some meaderies like to keep it to be a surprise, but what's coming up for you guys? What do you got new and cool that's going to happen?
Well, I guess beginning in our business plan, which was extensive and took a lot of thought, and surprisingly enough, we're following it years later, with one exception, and as we had always planned to have not only a still line of meads, but a sparkling line of meads.
Okay.
Well, the pilot is done. And it is in both the refrigerator and the open shelf for stabilization purposes. And we've always had the equipment. We've just never used it. And we plan to debut our sparkling mead in August.
Okay, cool. Is that going to be a traditional, a mel, combination, what?
The first one is going to be similar to the pure honey mead, only sparkling.
Nice. That should be interesting. So we'll see that at the Mazer Cup.
We already keg two or three of our meads. And this is going to be mostly available in bottles, but it will be available in kegs as well.
Okay.
We have it's actually distributor driven.
Interesting.
They have been clamoring.
You gotta love it when
and we decided to just go for it.
Love it. So
we love just having distributors. Back 15 years ago, they were against us even opening.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring we were going to put them out of business because we had the ability to. Our license is a distributor's license in Montana. So they figured we were going to put them out of business, and we had to go and testify to the legislature and all this other kind of stuff. They told them to let's wait and see, and just like we told them, someday we were going to need truck drivers.
Mm-hmm.
Because we won't be able to do it all ourselves, and we never intended to be delivery people. We want to make meat. So all of a sudden we have 5 distributors in Montana and 9 states.
Nice. Very cool.
They came to us.
I'm sitting here working on a bottle of your King Sizer, the apple mead. So yeah, this is from last year. So
that's what we forgot in our.
Yeah,
that's what we forgot in our beginning of stuff is who's drinking what.
Yeah. I went through.
And I should say that we're with the sparkling meads. We're not really looking at doing like session meads.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing light up here, and so we just want to have a sparkling mead.
No, there's a few out there. I mean, a lot of the sparkling meads are session level, but Pirtle they've got a nice sparkling that does pretty well, and is one of their most popular sellers too. I mean, the boys were telling me that when they rolled that, they did it with a certain level of I don't know, and it rapidly became their biggest seller. So there's definitely a market out there.
We've obviously had plenty of time. But, we really wanted something with body and flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be a little lower potency than the still meads. So the trick was maintaining the body and the flavor.
Yeah. I'm going to look forward to that one. That'll be good. I don't drink a lot of sparkling meads, but I know who I like, so I know who I would buy them from if they had them. So yours will be one of the ones I lay hands on. I just got to look and see. Are you guys shipping to North Carolina right now? I can't remember if you were on Vino.
We always North Carolina is one either 3 or 4 in our online.
Nice.
Customers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Always has been. Florida, North Carolina, California, and Texas.
Nice.
Believe it or not, are our 4 biggest online customers.
Well, Florida, not surprising.
And we have a distributor that's based in Napa.
Oh, fun. Gotta love that. Well, this is one of the bottles that I lugged home from when I was out in Montana last year in January for that conference that I had to go to. So it's just now seeing the light of day from the cellar, and I put it in the fridge yesterday. So you might be interested to know that there's just enough oxidation on it to make it really rich.
Oh, nice.
It went all buttery. It's like, ooh.
That's what's nice. That's what's nice about mead.
Yeah. Yeah,
even when it oxidizes, it's not ruined.
Well, it depends on the mead, but this
helps it a little, I think.
I do too.
I think so too.
Yeah,
it gives it a port-like quality.
And
somewhere between port and sherry.
Yeah, I've always been really fond of that particular character. I know that it's considered a fault when you're judging, but I think from a sales standpoint, I think it lends depth and character to the mead myself. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
So. But so sparkling is the new big thing for you guys, or at least the bigger thing going forward. Are you going to just stick with the traditional?
Well, it's something new.
Yeah, you going to roll that out to the.
Well, actually we only have 4 traditionals, and we have 9 of the contemporary, the table wine styles.
Okay.
We can't keep up with those. That's just been the